Hi, this is Paisley Trees,
This is Dr. Crow.
and welcome to episode 10 of our Civ 6 playthrough as the Ottomans.
Yeah.
Long time coming, never not had it, was always gonna continue this video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good things come to those who wait.
Yeah, so in our previous video, we sort of attached a clip of us explaining about the pause. So now we're just going to go into the next episode. I will give a little bit of a brief reminder of where we're at. I just conquered Poland's capital city, and I am going to definitely keep it. In Persia, things not going as well as they should have been. I was rewatching the last video. I'm like, oh, I really messed up. May have set me back a few turns, but it's okay. I lost Hagmatana. I tried to attack their capital without any
Support,
like what's it called, siege tower support. Will not do that again. So I have a couple of Janissaries making their way here, and
Nice.
I need another siege tower. First things first.
Okay.
And back here, honestly, I don't know how much this matters. All I need is science and gold and faith. Just like everything for
Just a little bit of everything.
for these cities to do. And I think I was working on the Colosseum going here or something.
Good idea.
The last we left off with the Ottomans, we were talking about the Tanzimat, right?
Yeah, everyone's favorite time period.
Yeah, and as a reminder, it's, the Tanzimat Edict or the Gulhane Edict is 1839. It's a monumental shift in sort of the way we talk about the Ottoman Empire, but also in the Ottoman Empire, it was quite of an important edict.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so Tanzimat period normally considered to be 1839 to 1876, but if you talk about later on and say Tanzimat period, people will still know what you mean, because the Tanzimat is taken as a kind of turning point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a lot of games too, actually, the Tanzimat is an event that happens for the Ottomans. So in Empire Total War, you can have a Tanzimat. In Age of Empires 3, you can have a Tanzimat. And I believe in Victoria 3, which just came out, there's also a big Tanzimat event. And usually you get better units. Usually the Ottomans are in a very bad condition at the start of those games, and the Tanzimat allows you to catch up, basically.
Interesting.
And to a certain extent, we don't want to always emphasize ruptures over continuities, but certainly the Ottomans themselves...
Such a good way to put it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Did view the Tanzimat as a
Not
very
a
important,
rupture.
but a turning point.
A turning point.
For sure.
It was sort of an attempt to match the Ottoman Empire with the time period. Like, for example, me right now, I am using my Janissaries. It is probably a little bit too late to be using Janissaries.
And the crossbowmen.
But they have worked so well for me so far, so I'm just like, I'm not going to change it. It was good the way it was.
Yeah.
As you saw with the actual Ottomans, it just came to a point where you're like, this isn't working for me anymore. And a reminder, there was a red wedding moment for the Janissaries in the Ottoman Empire with Mahmud II. Very unfortunate. Will I have a red wedding moment? We will see. I don't think so. I think I can make it work with just Janissaries. They're so good. They're so good.
Yeah, and we should keep in mind it's a little bit different from decline, right? Because in the same way that, like, there's clearly many problems in America that people recognize, right? But doesn't mean that America is necessarily in decline, right? Or maybe it is, but it's still, whatever. It's not like collapsing.
There's still time to fix it.
There's still time to fix it. And that's how the Ottomans felt, right? Like, they recognized that there were these big structural issues.
Right. And what were some of the issues for them?
Well, with the Tanzimat period, a number of big changes happened, particularly in terms of, we talked about tax farming, everyone's favorite topic earlier, but that was clearly a big structural issue. So Tanzimat began to re-centralize the tax system. It began to establish formal educational structures like universities, medical schools.
Right.
It began to reorganize the military, introduce conscription, which was very controversial, but uh, armies of Europe at that time were conscript armies, right? So it was adapting to that. So it was really, really trying to do a kind of top-down but full-scale sort of reorganization.
Right. And another issue the Ottomans are facing at this point are internal wars. A lot of provinces declaring independence. The Greeks are the first, right?
Yeah, Serbia revolts, but it's still part of the empire for a while. So Serbia is technically the first, but Greece is the first to become independent. Like, for example, I'm a literary, cultural, intellectual historian, and a lot of the changes that we talk about in my field, we talk about Tanzimat literature, they're not really directly related to the Tanzimat as a bureaucratic change, but it's taken as this cultural shift as well. And what does that mean? It means, for instance, that because there's a bureaucratic emphasis now on learning French and learning European languages instead of learning Persian, the cultural influences begin to shift towards translations and adaptations of French works. What we see then is new forms like the novel begin to dominate. Mm-hmm. And by the end of the century, you have things like free verse, you have comics, you have all these kind of stuff that is very European media, but it's now being adapted and built upon by Ottoman poets and authors. And so
the Tanzimat period is, let's address this, called a period of westernization.
That was the criticism for a long time, was that Tanzimat is just imitation, basically, right? But I think more and more we've seen that actually what the Ottomans are doing is something very, very radical and new. Sometimes synthesizing, other times actually being inspired by examples, but taking them in a very different direction.
Right.
For example, in literature, actually the first use of stream of consciousness as a technique is in Ottoman literature. It precedes actually the French use of the technique.
Cool.
So that's a kind of interesting example where people say, oh, they're just imitating French novels, but actually they're doing something very new.
Interesting.
So what are you up to right now?
Okay, so I'm moving units. It's just a lot of clicking. I have to say, I don't love this part of the game because, it's just so much clicking, and each turn is just taking so long. I've only played 2 turns so far.
Yeah.
Okay, and then here, my plan is to just take it. Can I just do it?
Looks like it.
No!
Oh, no!
Run away.
Yeah.
If I had taken it, it would have just left me. It would have just left the earth. But I just one more run away.
Okay.
Do I need more units up here? I mean, I could use another bombard, maybe.
I could see it.
I mean, it's only 38th strength. Am I underestimating Persia? We'll see. Oh, and then, I got a lot of knowledge here.
Nice, you have the pyramids.
Oh, it looks like I could have just snuck by.
Just walked. Yeah, that's okay.
It's okay. And yeah, I guess I'm just gonna land here.
Okay.
Okay, so what does not go well with the Tanzimat? Oh yes, I will take peace, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, good idea.
Nice.
Good idea, Poland. Let's end this war.
The first sort of issue, I guess, with the Tanzimat, and this is an issue which is maybe overstated, but it is an issue that is kind of was kind of the thesis of a very, very important book, literary history by a very important author, Ahmed Hamdi Tanpınar, was that the Tanzimat introduced a kind of dualism or a dichotomy in Ottoman culture, right, between an elite class which had access to European media and therefore valued that media and made it kind of high status, and a culture which they increasingly came to reject as a lower culture, which was the earlier aspects of Ottoman society. Now, this may be overstated, this may be a little bit projection into the past, but it is true that certainly the ethos of the Tanzimat was not evenly distributed, right? It was attempting to do this kind of wholesale societal change, but that change was always structured by class difference, and always structured by linguistic difference, cultural difference. And so when we talk about the kind of Tanzimat intellectual or something, we're really talking about a very specific type of person. And one issue with that is that because the Tanzimat was so located in a kind of certain bureaucratic class, it encountered a lot of opposition, but it also was sort of fragile in the sense that in the period following the Tanzimat, which is the reign of Sultan Abdul Hamid II, he was really able to undermine bureaucratic power and reinstitute a kind of centralized, sort of autocratic state.
Right. And that's why we sort of bookend the Tanzimat period with 1876.
Yeah.
Which is the beginning of Abdul Hamid's reign.
Yeah, exactly.
So in between Abdul Hamid, we have two sultans,
Yeah,
Abdul Majid, Abdul Aziz. There's just not, I don't know, there's just not that interesting. There's the Dolmabahce Palace,
Yeah.
which I believe we've spoken about. So architecture-wise, that's kind of interesting.
Well, the big event that happens in the Tanzimat period is the Crimean War.
Right. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so many people know about it. Obviously, Crimea is now, it has been in the news for the past decade now, so people maybe are more interested in it now than they were before. But the Crimean War was essentially that the British and French decided to ally with the Ottomans against the Russians. And they did so by invading Crimea in order to that was the main port of the Ottomans of the Russians on the Black Sea. And the war is kind of known for being sort of disastrous because we have a couple of reasons. We have, the first sort of industrialized war really here between industrialized countries, or industrializing countries at least. We also have tactics that are still kind of Napoleonic tactics, but they're now in the age of the Gatling gun and these kind of things. So it's sort of like World War I, where you see the clash between tactics and technology. There's also a huge amount of disease that happens, very poor planning. So it's sort of known as a kind of disaster. But it's also very important for the Ottomans and for fields like war journalism begins in the Crimean War. Modern nursing.
So what is war journalism?
Like war correspondence, people, Anderson Cooper out there with a jacket, right? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Modern nursing with Florence Nightingale begins in Istanbul during the war.
Do you want to say who she is?
Yeah, Florence Nightingale is a nurse. I think people may know a little bit about her,
Might
but
not know her.
she went to work in the hospital, which was originally an Ottoman barracks on the Asian side of Istanbul. And whilst there, introduced a lot of kind of modern nursing techniques. She had even though there wasn't really bacteriological theory at the time, she introduced a lot of things like emphasis on cleanliness and sanitary qualities and things like this. Emphasis on palliative care, that kind of stuff, which ended up being very important for how nursing is developed today. And for the Ottomans, it was this seemed to be their kind of entryway into being now considered an equal part of Europe, right? A kind of European power. So the Crimean War, we have all these photographs, but also engravings of like the British Queen Victoria, Napoleon III, and Abdulaziz, all together, as like three allied monarchs of equal status, right? So it was, at that time period, a kind of seemed like an opportunity for the Ottomans to be that, no longer a kind of separate from Europe.
Right, but this is also the time that Ottomans are called the sick man of Europe, right?
Yes, that's right.
And there's this really interesting, I think I need to point this way, comic or illustration that was circulating around the time. And what does it mean, the sick man of Europe?
It means that the Ottomans are the weakest part of the European concert, and that they're on their way out, they're on death's door, and once they're dead, all the other people and all the other nations of Europe are going to go and claim their inheritance, basically.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, the game's like basically just me moving troops at this point. Like, I don't know how to make this more. Oh, I did.
Well, that made it more interesting.
Whoops. Yeah, I'm trying to just move everyone up,
Yeah.
but I do want to upgrade
Should we upgrade
these
this?
in one turn. I'm gonna put the card in, or can I put the card in because of the loyalty here is 4 turns. That's so bad. Okay, everyone just keep moving.
Yeah.
You just heal. Hopefully nobody comes after you. Kabul. Kabul has been on my butt this whole time. I just need 4 envoys. Maybe I should get an envoy.
Okay.
In 2 turns. Okay, wait. I have a plan. I'm gonna get the envoy after this turn and put in the card to make upgrading cheaper. Although, I mean, I have the money. I don't really need to do that. And then I'm going to wait to convert once I'm just ready to attack. I'm just going to wait.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, right now I'm just moving stuff. There's not much else going on. Oh wait, I could have promoted this whole time. Oh my god.
Wow.
Okay. Anyways, let's just focus on Eric, not on my play.
Dr. Crow.
Sorry, let's focus on Dr. Crow
Yeah.
teaching, not on me messing up.
No, that's good.
Okay, yeah. Let's just click things. I think I'll be fine. Like, I don't think I need to try. Right? Yeah, I don't think I need to
All
try.
right. Okay.
We'll see. We'll see.
So yeah, the Ottoman Tanzimat period is well known as a kind of domination of the bureaucracy. So there's a group of pashas, Ali Pasha, Fuad Pasha, who are very important.
Wait, what are you talking about?
The bureaucracy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What time period?
Tanzimat.
Tanzania,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Sorry. I spaced out. Sorry, keep going.
And they kind of end up sort of running the state, basically, in lieu of the Sultan. And during this time, there's a kind of movement among intellectuals who view this as an usurpation of power, because they don't really like the bureaucracy dominating things. But they also don't necessarily want to go back to just a kind of autocratic monarch. So this group, which begins to be called the Young Ottomans,
Mm-hmm.
what they want is a constitutional regime in which the bureaucracy is deprived of power. They just become like a civil service. They lose that political power.
Yeah, and also just to say, young Ottomans are different than the young Turks.
Yeah, very. I mean, they're
Different.
similar in the sense that they're both political movements, but their ideological basis is totally different.
Oh, thankfully, got rid of
Nice.
Kabul.
Okay.
Sick of y'all chasing my crossbowmen.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the young Ottomans are earlier, much earlier,
Much earlier. Yeah.
and they're part of the first constitutional movement.
Exactly. And for the young Ottomans, what they want is a constitutional monarch who has a parliament. They want that parliament to be Islamically justified, and they want the Sultan to work in this kind of consultation with the parliament.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean by Islamically justified?
Well, there's a sort of issue where the young Ottomans are really quite religious in their inclination. They're actually quite theological in their inclination. And if they want to have a constitution, they don't want it to be just like the Tanzimat, where from their perspective, it is just kind of importing things from the West.
Mm-hmm.
What they want is something that is constitutional, parliamentarian, but is rooted in the Sharia. It's rooted in Islamic law.
Yeah, and so how do they find that legitimacy?
So they find it by looking at the principles of consultation, which existed in early Medina, in early Islamic society, and saying that, this principle of consultation can form the basis of a constitutional regime,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the fact that, the sultans themselves are subject to God's law should also show that there's no absolute power to the monarch. It should actually be a regime in which the law is the superior thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so why don't we move on to he's kind of the last sultan, but also not.
So Abdulhamid II
No, I just got a
is
city.
a very
from
complicated figure. I think Ottomanists deal with him the same way that Americanists talk about Nixon, in that he's a very complicated person, probably quite a lot of negative aspects, but also when you understand what he was trying to do, you can kind of see where you understand the logic.
You
behind.
understand the rationalism, but
Yeah.
not the. There had to be a better way. That's not saying that what he did was in any way the right thing to do. But Abdul Hamid has a reputation of being kind of paranoid, which I guess he was. That's not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, he was paranoid,
but being an irrational ruler.
Yeah.
But he was just a brutal ruler.
Yeah, I mean the Hamidian period is well known later on. It was called the reign of tyranny.
Yeah.
Because first off, within all realms of society, there was an intense censorship. He would introduce technologies like the telegraph, telephone, but they would be universally surveilled. The press was extraordinarily censored. Things like plays would be shut down immediately, for even the most minor political comments or even unpolitical comments. They would literally demolish the theater that the play was performed in.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a very, very heavy censorship, and mostly capricious censorship was the main issue.
Yeah, there's this joke about how he would censor anything about his nose because he had a large nose.
Yeah. Yeah, we censor very normal, very common phrases and expressions
that could maybe relate to a nose.
Yeah. He would censor, any play that might involve the death of a king. So Hamlet was banned, for instance, right? At the same time, he was very interested in theater, opera, European theater. He loved Sherlock Holmes novels. He had them all translated to
I think
Turkish.
There's this idea that Abdul Hamid was this maybe proto-Islamist who was sort of using religion to consolidate the nation. And so that's all some people talk about. But he's a very complicated figure in the ways that Dr. Crow was also mentioning. Also, the Byzantines just asked me if I am going to be declaring war. I feel like it's time to be honest.
I don't think it's time to be honest. Wait. Before you say that.
Okay.
Are all your people in position?
No.
So why don't you just wait? Because what the worst can happen is you take a reputation hit, but you're already attacking everybody in the world anyway. So just wait.
I wanted to do it grand.
Okay.
Fine.
Sneak attack.
I'm almost in position. Where am I?
Just wait till you're in position. That's fine.
I'm so close.
You'll be untrustworthy, but it's okay. You've already conquered half the world.
Okay, I'll wait. Yeah, I actually do just need this apostle.
They're all the way up there. What are you doing? Just wait.
I'm almost there. I'm coming. It's actually much slower over water. I don't know if you knew that. And this guy's a little bit too far back, the general. I'm coming. Okay, but I'm just almost ready.
Okay.
These ones are ready.
Yeah, you just got 2 guys.
Okay, well, let's just see what's
Remember what happened last time you attacked the city with 2 janissaries?
I'm almost ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Abdul Hamid comes to power in a really difficult time. 1875, the Ottomans go into default. They go bankrupt. They go into the proceedings for bankruptcy, but they get up bankrupt in 1876. And the reason for that is that during the Tanzimat period, in order to fund a lot of their modernization projects, the Navy, Dolmabahce Palace, they take on a lot of debt. And this is in the 21st century where you can there's programs to help you. If you take on debt in the 19th century, you're going to get invaded. So in the Ottoman case, they took on debt they could not pay. And the end result was that the European creditors seized control of about 1/5 of the Ottoman economy. So things like...
Mostly the British, right?
Yeah, British and French, in order to pay back the debts. And of course, these debts have interest, so they're never getting repaid. Until the Turkish Republic, they're still paying off these debts. But things like all tobacco in the Ottoman Empire, The profits go to the creditors. All kinds of cash crops. These profits go to that. So economically, it's a very big disruption.
Right.
And there's this period of chaotic, power shifting, negotiating.
Oh, great. Not again.
Oh.
Another, okay, I'm going to vote for this one, though. Let's see. Please, Poland, do not join. I do not need you. Let's see. Oh, I heard the sound. It passed.
Oh,
Who
no.
joined? Cyrus. Not Matthias. How dare you?
Wow.
And Poland?
So what does this mean for us?
I don't really know. It means my troops are not safe. They're going to come after me. Good thing I've been building walls, I guess. I thought maybe Poland would want round 2. I didn't think Hungary would want round 2, so I don't know how well protected I am there. But then here it means I can fight the Byzantines and get some extra combat and stuff.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Nice. Someone just converted.
Nice.
So, yeah, here it says member units gain +5 healing in the target's territory.
Okay.
So I'm going after Byzantines. So that's good.
Nice.
I get +2 combat strength. Oh, no. Target gains +2 combat strength.
If they run out before the members complete their objectives.
Oh, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. So this is the only thing that's important. I just get +5 healing.
Okay.
That's good.
Not bad.
I just hope Poland isn't coming for me. And then what about Hungary? Like,
They just got one city. What are they going to do? They don't even have any
Right?
units, do they?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I hope Kabul just deals with them. It's their problem now. And then with Persia, I think things are going okay.
A lot more guys now.
Yeah.
They did go up to 52 strength, it looks like.
It's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. So I think I'm just like, it's time to push, right?
All right, let's
Maybe
do it.
I'll upgrade you. Let's just get a few hits going. Where's the siege tower? Here it is. Okay. And I guess I'm just gonna move forward. I'm just gonna be reckless again.
The classic.
Classic reckless. Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah, it's fine.
It's time.
No, it's not time yet.
Okay, never mind. It's not time.
I mean, I guess the war's already been declared, so I can start.
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so is there more to say about Abdul Hamid? I mean,
Right, for sure.
there's a lot more to
There's
say.
a lot to say.
It's
So-
like one of those things where, because it's a time period we study, like
There's so much. There's so much to talk about.
there's so much to talk about, but also I don't want to.
Yeah, because also like it's interesting to us, but it might be boring to you. I don't know. But this part is interesting. So, 1876,
Where'd you get attacked from?
the city.
While the Colosseum
Oh, we're at the
Hey,
Colosseum.
nice.
Wow, very nice. In a Tierney.
Super useless, but it might help with like amenities. Maybe is how 2 turns to rebellion.
Okay.
I got this.
You got this?
No.
How do you got this?
I don't know. It'll be fine.
Is there anything we can build in there that's gonna help with the rebellion?
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I'm not worried about it. You don't worry about it.
But so 1876, with Mithat Pasha as the lead, the Ottomans draft a constitution, and they have the first elections for the constitution for the parliament. And so from 1876 to 1878, we call this the first constitutional period because there is a parliament. It's not a very powerful parliament, but it does exist, and they vote on legislation. And of course, what's interesting is that it's a very multicultural, multi-ethnic parliament, multi-religious parliament. So we have representatives from Albania, representatives from Egypt, well, not Egypt, sorry, representatives from Syria, representatives from Iraq, representatives from Anatolia, and so they're all coming together into this one singular institution, which is the last time that's happened.
Right, because things turn left real quick for the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah, there will be a second constitutional period, but that will very quickly devolve into a one-party state. So the first constitutional period is the one where you see a lot of this kind of trying to work out how a constitutional regime will actually work in this context. So it's a very interesting period. But the main issues that happen is that Sultan Abdul Hamid comes to power, and he's very wary of the system, but also he's at that point quite powerless. So he has to deal with it for a while. But in 1877, you have another big war of Russia, just called the Russo-Turkish War. Mostly takes place in Bulgaria. And in that war, the Ottomans are routed, basically.
Routed?
Defeated.
Defeated? What the hell is routed?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little thing, Ghazi Osman Pasha is able to survive a little bit, but, basically they're totally defeated.
Uh-huh.
And so, in that chaos, in that context, Abdul Hamid dissolves the parliament and institutes a autocratic one-man rule.
Yeah, like a state of emergency.
State of emergency doesn't end until the 1908 revolution.
Yeah, and so things go really badly for the Ottomans from this point on.
Yeah, most of the young Ottomans are exiled or, again, forced to commit suicide or killed. The Ali Suavi, who we mentioned before, decides to lead like a rebellion with just him and like a couple of guys, like 100 guys. But he is killed, obviously. And so this period is very interesting because what is censored politically is able to be expressed in athletic debates. So you have very interesting literary culture during this time.
Interesting.
But politically, it's a very rough period.
Right.
So we're surrounding Constantinople now?
Yes, finally. I did not convert them. Hopefully this guy can do enough. Here we go. Hopefully this guy's enough.
We'll see.
What's this promotion? I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
And then in Persia, oops, this guy's dying. My
Oh, no.
bad.
Can you pillage?
Yeah. No worries.
Okay.
And then we finally have the new siege tower over here. Hopefully their walls aren't like too advanced for us. We'll see. Okay, so we're moving in. I think this is actually gonna work. I think.
Okay.
And this is rebellion in one turn, so let's just get out of here. Ignore. Oh, I can actually hit the city. Let's see. That did nothing. It's okay.
You want to move this guy a little bit forward too?
I can't.
Oh, no.
I cannot. Okay, and then the bombards are coming down here. I think I might be able to win.
Okay.
That's the goal, to win. Oh, and then my bombard's here. Okay. One more time, our battery died.
Okay, we're back.
Yeah. It's turn 148.
Yeah, almost done. We got our
almost done.
bombards ready
Yeah.
to bombard.
I can't aim from here. Oh, I can aim from here. Okay, great.
Okay, nice.
Oh, wait, I forgot to convert the city. That's fine. It's fine.
It's okay. Next time. I think, the Abdul Hamid period is such a complicated one that's hard to summarize in, just a couple of words.
And it is long.
It is quite long.
When does his reign end?
1876 to 1909, so quite a
1909.
while.
Yeah, so there's a lot there. Especially near the end, things get very tragic in the region.
Yeah, I mean, this is the period where, as well as the things I think in games like Civ too, where when things are in the past, when it's like Genghis Khan, there's all these atrocities, but they're kind of very far in the past, so it's
Right.
a little bit more easy to handle.
Like, more suited for a
A
game?
game, right. I mean, this is, like Civ, Civ, I think even Civ 3 maybe. The leaders of Russia were like Stalin, the leader of China was Mao.
Really?
And I think, you can see with Civ 6, they tried to push things back a little bit, a little less controversial. I mean...
Yeah, there's still a lot of controversial things in the game, but
Yeah.
I think giving distance to these, ideas and atrocities make them more palatable to, the current audience. But it's
Like
very...
we just discovered colonialism by the Ottomans.
Yeah, that's actually not too far back, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the controversial things I always think about. Yes, colonialism. Let me put in, the Raj.
Yeah, I saw someone complaining about Victoria 3 It's saying it's too easy to abolish slavery. It needs to be harder. It's like, okay, I don't know if that's good.
That's so bad.
Right, it's very
but like
bad.
Civ did make the decision not to put slavery in the game,
Right.
right? Like, and that is, you know,
There's no genocide card. There's no.
I'm sure that like they actually did put a lot of thought into it. Some things, you know, I don't think are like known to be controversial. Like the Raj is probably not known to be controversial,
Well,
but
it
if
should be.
it should be. You look into it, you're like, wow, you know, the
This was-
famine,
yeah. Tens of millions of people died.
yeah, exactly. But you know, some things are just more generally understood, and I really want to put it in. Actually, it's a good card. I just don't want to. I mean, I guess
We got triangular trade, so not the greatest. Yeah.
Oh, it's already flipped, so I don't forget about loyalty cards. I don't care anymore. Remove this. Remove this. I mean, that's like a lot of loyalty to lose, but oh well.
You sure not gonna lose any other cities if you do that?
Hope not. Let's put in the money ones. Guess something like that. What else? More money. Am I even using my money? No, but it's
Should
okay.
probably use it.
Let's put in the Raj, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
one
one more card.
Yeah, reduce. Oh wait, there should be some like military stuff. One movement could be good, but it's in friendly territory.
It's not very useful.
A
Yeah.
little too late for that. I need to surround the city so it doesn't heal itself. There we go. Okay, let's see how good this is gonna be.
Not bad.
You think so?
Yeah, I think we'll be good.
See, I think I'm doing this wrong because first of all, I need to get this guy out of this area. I think I'm doing it wrong because when I attack, it doesn't attack the walls, right? It attacks the actual city.
Hmm.
And it's quite strong, but I think it'll be fine.
You sure about that one?
Okay, I'll let this one rest.
Yeah.
Okay, it's so close. We're so close. Am I doing the same mistake again?
No.
And then
we
this-
got more guys this time.
Yeah, more than two.
We're not like Ali Swabi.
With our 100 guns.
Guys, yeah.
And then here, oh yeah, I was trying to convert it. This
Mhm.
guy needs to get in this way. One more turn. But I think I'll just hit it still anyways.
Yeah, just keep hitting it. There's no reason not to.
And then everyone. And then this should come here so it can surround the city soon. And so this goes here. And I think that's good. So any other last comments about the
Last
Ottomans before
comments.
we finish this game?
Well, I mean, I think Ottoman studies really does have a lot to tell us, not even if we're just talking about history of the Middle East or history of the Balkans, but really in terms of different ways to think about organization of societies, ways of thinking about language, about thinking about water distribution.
Yeah.
Um,
I study water. Dr. Crow studies language.
Yeah. And so because of that, I think it's actually good for it to kind of move beyond this sort of just kind of like national history focus and really branch out into thinking about different connections. And I think, a game like Civ, by including the Ottomans, including this stuff, it does help to drive interest in that topic.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a really good thing. And I think actually the way they did it in Civ, I mean, it's obviously very focused on the Suleiman time period. As we'll see with Persia, I think they're doing something interesting by bringing it into later Persia.
Oh yeah, the new update
Yeah.
dropped, so that's kind of why we're back playing.
I saw humankind also has the Qajars as a civilization, which is interesting. Qajars are the 19th century Iranians. So obviously it's very focused on the Suleiman time period, but even so, I think the way they did it is really interesting. I like how they brought in the Janissaries and brought in different mechanics that do kind of give a unique flavor to the Ottomans.
Yeah. I do want to say that, there's a lot of interesting things happening in Ottoman studies, and one of the main things is getting rid of the concept of Ottoman studies, right? Getting rid of this idea that we study empires, that like our histories are bookended and sort of understood through, sultanic reigns. And I think that's something that we're both very interested in, is how do we study the past without letting power dictate the sort of terms and the contours of the field. Do you want to explain what I mean? Do you understand what I mean? While I try to finish this?
I think so. I mean, I think, we don't want to, there's a very long historical tradition of saying what is history. History is King Louis the 14th, King Louis the 15th, King Louis the, right? Like, it's just like a succession of kings, and it's a very top-down idea of history. Whereas, even if you think about today, right? I mean, okay, Biden is the president, but is this like the Biden era of the world? Like, not really, right? There's things that are going on in society that are beyond just the realm of who is in charge, right?
Right.
And I think when we go back to the past and we look at the 19th century Ottoman Empire, we look at even, 18th century, 16th century, we see actually that there are global connections that are not really just bounded by...
Oh. Sorry, finish your sentence. Bounded by...
states, kings, and empires. Right?
And... Yes! I did it!
Nice!
Take that, Persia. And this guy's dead. Yes, we did it.
Okay, now we have one more city, right?
Yeah,
Constantinople.
It's looking okay.
Going back to the beginning.
Keep the city, yes, sure. I don't know how long I can hold it.
4 turns.
4 turns.
Yeah, that'll be enough.
Oh, I think I have someone I can assign there. Yeah. It doesn't matter if I lose it, right? I do want to see what's behind this. Oh, I should have gone this like much sooner. Oh wait, I can't. I need to wait until industrial era. Okay, good.
Okay.
Ooh, I was like, did I mess up?
Abdul Hamid period. I study it, from the perspective of, for example, theater, actresses,
Converted.
things like this. And so you see that really in terms of culture, in certain respects, as people said at the time, it was really the sultanate of those actresses and not the sultanate of Abdul Hamid. So
Oops.
it's just different ways of looking at history. And yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I can't aim from here. So I think you need to move here. You need to move here, and you need to move up here. Maybe even down here. Can you aim from here? Okay. So I got one shot here. I got one shot here. It's not enough for this turn, I think. Okay, I'm gonna wait till next turn.
Okay.
Just to be safe. I hope I can do this.
Looks like we never needed a Tanzimat too. We still got our Janissaries and Bombards. Yeah.
Hopefully, don't speak too soon. I feel like things could go left real bad because I'm like right in that moment.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make everyone fortified here. I'm like right in that moment where they could come out with like the next hottest technology.
Yeah.
Oh, so it changes everything to the vault. That's interesting.
What does it change to the vault? The
bazaar building, the changes to the vault after you build it. Is that right? Oh, I thought if I build them all first, then it won't change to the vault. Because, okay, let me try to explain to you. You may be like, what are you talking about? So when I unlocked this promotion, allows you to construct the Gilded Vault building, a powerful replacement of the bank. But the Ottomans already have a replacement for the bank, which is the Grand Bazaar. So it looks like all my Grand Bazaars just got replaced.
Immediately turned into banks or
vaults. Okay, that's fine.
That's
Who cares? Okay. Oh, no.
Oh no.
Oh, it's kind of painful. It's kind of painful. Let's see. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
This is so exciting. I'm finally gonna maybe win. Yeah. One shot there. You two. No. You. Okay, the walls are basically down. I think this is it.
Is this it?
I think this is it.
Constantinople?
Yes. We did it.
We did it.
Oh my god, we did it. I finished a game, finally. Yeah, I think Potato McWhiskey tweeted recently, by the age 30, you should finish one Civ game. And I did it.
You just made it.
I just made it.
2 months left.
Okay.
Nice.
I guess we can look at graphs.
Nice.
Fun.
Well, we hope you enjoyed our Ottoman game.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time with Persia, I
Yeah.
think. And
Before the new Persia comes out. We're going to play the old Persia and then do the new Persia, probably.
Okay.
Anything else?
I think that's it.
That feels so anticlimactic. Thank you to everyone that was with us for the whole year.
Yes. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you for your patience.
Inhuman level of patience.
And turn 152. If I ever need to play past like the industrial era, I have no idea what to do.
Yeah.
But we'll learn together.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
that's it. Bye, everyone.
See you.